Three, two, one. We are live. What's going on, everyone? It is Monday, and we are here for another edition of our stay-at-home open mic. That's right, aka the online mic, aka the Monday night late mic. Either way, we're happy to have you here. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. If you are returning, as always, welcome back. And yeah, if you're not familiar, we've been doing this online mic since April of 2020. And since that time, we've been here every single Monday, um, offering an online platform for people who want to share. And I do apologize. Today I'm very under the weather, so much so I had to cancel my morning classes, office hours, appointments for the day, and I slept all day. So I'm kind of like fighting that grog when you sleep all day. But I still feel a little rough here. So I'm gonna try my best. Bear with me. If you are an APCC student tuning in for the Tejano Passport program, stick around. Leave a message in the comments. We have a live chat going on right now. Say hello in the live chat. And throughout the show, I'll drop hints on how you can get that credit. I'm not going to tell you right away because then you're just going to get it and then leave. I want you to stick around, watch the performers, support them. This is a platform where we do want to support everyone who signed up. They are a writer, a poet, a musician, and I'll encourage everyone to share their social media handles. Maybe if you have a YouTube channel, or a link where you can find your ongoing upcoming performances, features, maybe a link to buy books or even albums. But yeah, do let us know you're here. What's up, Julian? Julian in the live chat is always good to see you. I see you've been leaving comments as well when you can't really be here for the live. It is a busy week, and this is the worst time for me to get sick because tomorrow we have an in-person open mic. It's gonna be Halloween. Oh, geez, this is terrible. Can I make it? Once I pass the baton and have you guys all go up, it'll be fine. But I probably shouldn't talk that much. So, like any other open mic, the rules are simple. If you want to perform, all you have to do is sign up. We do have a link to sign up that is available on all our social media. Tea break. Excuse me. It sucks not being able to talk when that's like almost everything that I do, whether it be this podcast, hosting shows. But anyway, let us know you're here. Say hello in the live chat. We got performers from all over the place. I'm really struggling through this intro, guys. But I'm just gonna go ahead and kick things off. Let you guys experience these awesome performers through their own words. So as we've done many, many times before, we're gonna kick things off in Denver, where we have Michael Sindler in the house. Mike, gonna take it away.
Okay, well, I do hope that you will start feeling better as things keep rolling along, not counting on it, but hoping. I want to go ahead and start by putting up my little card for lighthousewriters.org. All you people out there in YouTube land, pay attention and go to this site and check it out. Just so many great things. It's this past weekend they had a queer creatives retreat, much of which was online. We're having a poetry fest thing coming up, a weekend long poetry fest in November that's going to be very cool. But there's always classes and workshops and all kinds of neat stuff, events. So that being said, I was thinking about doing my usual stuff that I do for Halloween, and I figured I won't. This poem is kind of weird. It's really old. It's from the early 80s. And I literally wrote this poem while I was asleep. It's like I completely wrote it and I woke up and just wrote it down like as fast as I could before it left. But that's what happens when you were doing a lot of drugs. But that's the the intro. It's called Welcome the Headhunter. I walked in sleep through the Kalahari, tongue glazed and hardened to solid glass. Words slip, sharp, clear, please. No oasis, just mountains in the air, shadows cold as Victoria's depths, dark as Congo midnight. I am more silent than jackals now, more lonely than the rhino. Foreshortened plain, nearsighted plan. I am more thirsty than I could ever be awake. Glass oozing hot in my mouth, closing off sound. My eyes glazed with same sheen, but cool and still. I would welcome the headhunter from some random jungle, swinging into my sand world, shaking spear. It's hard to find excitement in dreams. And then I woke up. So that was a weird day. And I thought I would do this one, which was basically just trying to do something in second person, which is, if anybody tries to write a lot of stuff in second person, they know it's a little bit difficult. So this is called The Heat. You can escape the sun. The blue shade of the pine forest screens the worst of the glare, filtering the pale yellow incandescence, your sweat-soaked sleeves buttoned at wrists, tightly woven straw hat glued to dank locks, breeches clinging to thighs, weighing you down with perspiration, prove that humidity, on the other hand, is inescapable, unrelenting. In a drier clime, this might be bearable, but in this lonely wood outside this small southern town, it's torture. Your tongue swollen, mouth and throat dry as the cracking pine straw you trample on. You feel nearly defeated, ready to lie down under a tree and let sleep overtake you, slowly braising, stewing in the sopping heat, but you will not allow yourself to become the sacrificial lamb resting before carving, so you stumble and stride on in search of safety. You can't hear any sounds other than the natural ones carried on the slight breeze, breaking the stagnant humidity, bird calls, pine cones, and branches falling, nothing else. But you know sounds will come, heavy feet, running in thick boots, sounds of whooping, your name being called as taunt and threat. This is the real heat, the heat of fear. You must keep moving because they will be coming. If only you could run. So that, and I'm just going to do one other real short one. It's called Grief Motel. Who is in the room beyond this wall? Thin sheetrock layers, no match for grief. Tear flood seeps from hallway stream, new fuel for carpet, sad pattern of mold. Windows rattle, pane sticks to glazing, groans, muffled meanings indistinguishable from climax. Slowly unpacked suitcase of silence. Does sorrow stop for sleep? Does it ever check out? What does the other side hear from me? New fresh hell in Grief Hotel. Okay, thank you very much, and happy Halloween to everybody.
All right, yes, indeed. Thank you, Mike. And I'm so used to not seeing the hat to finish off the set. Yeah, did you want to do the cover? I mean,
Yeah, I actually do.
and
And
it's Halloween, so
yeah, so actually a little different hat this time. This is the great Iggy Pop, Caesar. People of America, I bring you a great army to preserve peace in our empire. Throw them to the lions. Darling, let us go to the banquet hall. There will be a great feast tonight. Who are these Christians? What is this strange religion? I've heard it said they turn the other cheek. Throw them to the lions. Throw them to the lions. Throw them to the lions. Thumbs down. 10 pieces of gold for every man. Hail Caesar. Hail Caesar. Grapes from Sicily. Silks from Asia Minor. All the tea in China. Throw them to the lions. Throw them to the lions. Throw them to the lions. Who are these Christians? Turn the other cheek. 2 thumbs down. The Christians are restless. Why not let them worship their God? No one believes in the old gods. How tiresome attending the rituals, paying lip service to the portents, burning incense at their shrine. No one believes in the old gods. Throw them to the lions. Throw them to the lions. Throw them to the lions. The Roman Empire, the glory of Rome. Hail, hail, hail. Caesar, Caesar, beware the Ides of March. Who is this man? Caesar, he is but a soothsayer. He is old and his brain is rattled. Pay him no mind. Throw him to the lions. Hail Caesar, Emperor of Rome. Hail Caesar. Caesar, Caesar, beware the Ides of March. Hey, who is this man? Caesar, he is but an old soothsayer, addled in his brain. Pay him no mind. Throw him to the lions. Throw him to the lions. No one believes in the old gods. The empire is tired. Caesar will rest now. We depart from my chambers. Come, darling. Yes, Caesar. Caesar will rest now. Hail Rome. Hail Caesar. Hail. Put him in the fiery pit. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm awesome. I'm glad that we were able to go back and revisit that. That was perfect. 10:30, October 30th. Performances. Yes, the Darth Vader mask, along with the voice acting, I might add. Top notch. All right. Get Mike Sindler. Check out lighthousewriters.org. So Mike is close by. He's up in Denver. But as always, the Barbed Open Mic series were based out of El Paso, where we have an amazing writer in the name of Robin Schofield, who is getting ready to release her debut, not her debut book, with her third book collection, Ridge of High Pressure. And the cover looks great, by the way. Mouthful Press, really looking forward to that. But let's go ahead and pass things on to our celebrated author, Robin herself, who also took a little hiatus while I had your writing group in town. So it's good to have you back again. Let's go ahead and welcome to the stage, Robin Schofield. Hey, Robin.
Thank you, Richie. Yeah, I had 2 writing conferences in a row. I had one, I went to Tempe one weekend, and then I hosted my San Miguel friends for a writing workshop, and it was packed with activities, and it was fun. But I'm glad to be back in the regular routine. And yes, Ridge of High Pressure's coming out, and I should be getting the books anytime now. And Carlos Fidel Espinosa did the cover, so it's a real special cover because it's a picture of the shepherd dog. Was what? I don't know. It's a picture of the shepherd dog that died this spring. So anyway, it's full of eco poetry and me walking the dog, ruminating about the weather and the climate. And I've got some Halloween poems to read. This one is about my nephew Jeremy, who died when he was 33 on Halloween night. Time, the fire in which we burn. In a universe of no boundaries, time is imaginary. It doesn't roll, it doesn't go by, it doesn't flow. It doesn't bring Jeremy to the Navy or to Reno. In imaginary time, he's there already, sculpting tiny clay animals for his grandma, a ski trip to the Alps, art galleries, a dog named Maggie, many, many girlfriends, such as Michelle we knew from high school. In imaginary time, there are no singularities. Time can move backward and forward. In real time, he was a teenager in my living room, playing with my LPs, teaching my toddler son to draw on the walls. Before, he was a kid on a go-kart who didn't know how to stop, just go, go. In imaginary time, he lights down the black diamond slope, never coming to the bottom. In real time, his chestnut hair, olive skin, and aquamarine eyes, a weather of lake and sky. In imaginary time, his eyes still roll in their orbits. His hands knock on doors, seeking the 30-odd people he rescues from the fire. In real time, the hypotenuse between curved stairs and spitting embers caught him by the brocade curtains at these coordinates in the North Wing, Mitzvah Hotel, Reno, Nevada, Halloween, 10 p.m., 2006. His pure going, his real time disappearance. Okay, now for a little more, maybe a little more Halloweenish and lightness. This one is called Fairy Tale Ending. The werewolf at the party said, I am so tired of slaking my full moon bloodlust. On the January wolf moon, I ate a jackrabbit. It tasted terrible, all lean and stringy. I am so tired of being hairy. You can't think what a drag it is in the summer. I break out in hives under the August corn moon. I am so tired of being insomniac once a month. It's no help to read a book or watch a movie. I'm so tired of reflecting the double side for your veneer of satisfaction. I am so tired of taking my revenge. And this one's called The Wolf's Clothing Boutique. West of the Sabine River in a pasture, a man in a cowboy hat splits wood and nations. He wears boots too, though he isn't a cowboy. A suit changes a man. You need a nice one for when your aunt dies. You held her hand at the last. If he gets new tires for the old truck, can he avert disaster? It's doubtful. What won't be labeled will burst out. My heart stuttered at the news. What happened to the fresh start when the next day it rained and the road was water? A cover story has to be more than a passing concern. That's what a good tailored suit can do. Cover your ass if you write a big bad check. And then let's see, where's the oh yeah, I'm gonna read some something out of the notebook. One from the conference I went to in Tempe, where I almost met Joy Harjo. So it's very new. Let's see, I call it New War. Red and white geraniums attract blue orchard bees among the white alyssum. I hear the students shout in protest. Why can't there be peace everywhere on earth as in the garden? I have a feeling that the sky is on fire. And then in the workshop I ran for my friends, I wrote a poem about the desert spirituality. Sparse and spare the vegetation. Mesquite trees are bushes here with multiple trunks, good for survival in times of drought. Ocotillo dropped its leaves this summer of no monsoon. Survival in the desert depends upon these strategies. The city outlawed front yard grass and mulberry trees. Survival in times of drought in the desert. Soap tree yucca grows wild in a gypsum sea. Survival without water, flowering with natural grace. People too need to drop leaves or grow multiple trunks to survive in the desert. Survival in times of drought in the desert. Let's see, then I had a cover poem I was going to read. There it is. In case you're wondering why I look a little bundled up, I'm sitting by the window and we had a 28-degree drop in temperature from the upper 70s to the upper 40s. So the leaves in El Paso will turn. They haven't turned yet, but they'll turn one day and then they'll fall the next day. And this one is called this is for the season, Spring and Fall, by Gerard Manley Hopkins. To a young child. Margaret, are you grieving over Golden Grove unleaving? Leaves like the things of man, you with your fresh thoughts care for, can you? Ah, as the heart grows older, it will come to such sights colder by and by, nor spare a sigh, though worlds of one wood leaf meal lie. And yet you will weep and know why. Now, no matter, child, the name, sorrow's springs are the same, nor mouth had, no nor mind expressed what heart heard of, ghost guessed. It is the blight man was born for. It is Margaret you mourn for. So, autumn has come. Winter is here, even. So, let's see, what else? My book is coming out. I'm doing a reading on November 15th for local peeps. That'll be at the Little Temple on El Paso Street, next to the Rio Grande campus. I'm also doing a reading December 14th. I don't know where yet. We need to figure that out pretty soon. And I'll be doing a virtual reading at some point. I'll let everybody know when I know.
All right, that sounds like a great plan. Thank you, Robin. I know we're all looking forward to it. Very cool. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm gonna try and struggle through a couple more people and see if I'm able to last long. If not, I might have to call in a pinch hitter or the relief to come in early. But for now, we're actually gonna go to the East Coast. That's right, and check in our main man in Maine. That's right, it's the one, the only Brian Generalissimo. What is up, man? How you doing?
Hello.
Make sure. Hey, how are you today?
I'm trying. I just found out that I am going to be there's a online jazz poetry journal called Jerry Jazz Musician, and I had a piece published earlier this year, but they do a once a week feature called the Sunday Poem, in which they publish a poem, but you also send in a recording of the poem to go on the website. So they chose this poem that I'm going to read right now, which is called How I Achieved Levitation. They all lived in the Walnut Building. Satchmo blew the roof off the house. Fatswaller tickled ivories. Dizzy Gillespie flugeled. Billie Holiday wailed. Ella Fitzgerald scattered. Sarah Vaughan redefined divine with sassy. Lena Horne created paradise from stormy weather. Sinatra crooned. Sammy Davis played every instrument with unmitigated cool. Ray Charles saw the world through his songs. Harry Belafonte deode. Benny Goodman swung. Tommy Dorsey tromboned. Buddy Rich drummed. Stan Getz saxed. Woody Herman clarinetted. Spike Jones orchestrated unconventionality. Leadbelly sat on a stool singing the blues. Barbara Streisand was there, churning butter. The Waldorf building had no elevator. All of its occupants were made of vinyl, protected by paper sleeves and cardboard sleeves. They were carefully removed from cardboard, then paper, then placed onto a turntable. Then a needle found their grooves. Then music and voices emanated from speakers. I'd watch my father sitting in Mr. Chair, his leather Eames knockoff, breathing in through his nose as if in fresh mountain air. He closed his eyes, leaned back, tapped his feet on the orange carpeting, and at least not his. He existed, but he levitated. In the family room of the Franco house at 305 Thornhill Court in Mobile, Alabama, to the left of the 1960s Danish modern wall unit was the Walnut Building. 5 solid walnut cubes stacked one on top of another just shy of 6 feet tall. Each cube with dozens of cardboard sleeved LPs, mostly 33 1/3 and maybe a half dozen 78s. 2.5 years after Dad died, when I came home from New York when Mom was moving to a patio home, I decided the cubes were an apartment building in Hell's Kitchen or maybe Soho, decades before Soho was trendy. The musicians and vocalists held impromptu jam sessions, creating masterpieces that happened once, never to be recorded for the masses, and never to become legendary performances at Newport, Monterey, or Montreux. The night I flew in, I sat in Dad's chair and existed in the same room with the residents of the Walnut Building. The needle grooved into the vinyl. I sunk into Mr. Chair's weathered leather, reclined, closed my eyes, and levitated. Thank you. And I have 2 more poems that are pretty brand new. So the first one I wrote, I don't know, I think it was Sunday. Yeah, probably. A come hither transformation. While sitting at a counter awaiting Redneck's Eggs Benedict, I felt as if the world was closing in on me. It was as if I was in that trash compactor dumpster in Star Wars, which is an inaccurate analogy. It was more like I was in a dream walking around punch-drunk dizzy for no reason at all. I didn't intend to stop at the diner on the way to my Target pharmacist drug dealer to pick up my doctor-prescribed chemicals, but it had just started sprinkling, and when I flipped on the wipers after a few back and forths across the windshield, I saw the copper kettle sign sticking out into the atmosphere like a solid gold hand, wiggling its index finger for me to come hither for some coffee and comfort food. I took a hard right into the parking lot where there was one close enough spot adjacent to the tire place next door. I put on my hat and went inside to find one open seat at the counter. The waitress, who was running around like a chicken with its head cut off, stopped to take my order and put a disposable paper placemat with a word find puzzle, napkin, and silverware in front of me, then said, "It looks like you could use an iced coffee." When they know what your beverage will be by reading how your forehead wrinkles are wrinkling, the world can feel like a worthwhile place. While waiting for the food and coffee, I thought about all the pills I take every day and felt the world closing in on me. The sound of kitchen noises accompanied by patrons conversing and plates hitting the counter, followed by the tall plastic tumbler filled with ice and coffee placed over the top left corner of the placemat, sounded like an orchestral overture before a Tony Award-winning Broadway play. And that first sip of ice-cold coffee rolling down my throat transformed a rainy Maine Sunday into sunshine and 2 fluffy biscuits with sausage gravy topped with 2 perfectly poached eggs. And the next is, that was a true story, and this is also a true story. Why the armadillo community has a $10,000 dead or alive bounty out on me. I was driving home from lunch with a friend from San Francisco in Bar Harbor when I ran over an armadillo. During my almost 23-year residency in the state of Maine, I had seen deer, skunks, turkeys, and foxes crossing the street, but this was the first armadillo. Unfortunately, due to the fact this was a high-traffic two-lane road and there was a metal road barrier to the right with no shoulder, the armadillo had to be done in. My front right tire steamrolled over it, making a loud cracking noise, which threw me for a loop, making me take a deep breath. When I passed the barrier, I pulled over to the shoulder, exhaled, and exited my car. I walked to see if there was damage to the front passenger tire. There was not. I was also concerned there might be blood, brain, and guts that sprayed onto the paint. There was not. I wasn't concerned about the armadillo I had murdered with my Nissan Rogue. I think armadillos are lifetime monogamous. If the armadillo was a mom, the dad would likely drink himself to death, then the kids would become orphans. If the armadillo was a dad, the mom would have to take more than one job to make ends meet, turning the kids into latchkey kids destined for the gang life. As a result of my heinous crime, after I expressed my concerns to my competent therapist of over 4 years, my therapist fired me. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Brian. And the next voice you hear. Oh, sorry. Did you want to go? Or we'll
No, it's cool. I was just gonna like tell people, hey, Kit's gonna take
Okay.
over. It doesn't take much. It takes a lot for me to step down. So yeah, I'm gonna be here behind the scenes. Thank you, Kit.
Yeah, Richie's gonna take a step back. And if you watched last week, this is no surprise to you. You know that I'm sometimes the step-in host, and now here I am stepping in again. But yes, thanks very much, Brian. And we're going to go. We've been all over the place so far, but we're going to bring it back to the home base. We're going to bring it back to the EPLC area, to the LC half of that. And we're going to be talking with someone who I remember when we were both starting out doing this whole poetry thing. And it's really impressive to see them still at it and still doing interesting and new things. And I'm glad that through the medium of YouTube, we don't get to keep her all to ourselves. So everyone, please welcome the Lizard King.
Thank you for that intro, Kit. I appreciate that. Very good to be here. Good to see you, Richie. Good to see all the pals. I love that you still do the online open mic because I always want to go down to the El Paso one and I'm just, busy and fucking exhausted. So it's good to see you guys. I'm gonna do a short old one first and then some new shit. Yeah, this one's old. I don't think I've performed it. This is like a little burrito. This is from one of my past books called On the Other Hand, dedicated to bipolar poetry. Call. Sometimes I want to call someone, but I can't because I don't even know what to say when they ask what's wrong. I stare at my phone and try to dream up the magic words, spit out the right song, hope in something. Nope, my heart weighs nothing. The thing with wings, throat closed, the thing that sings. Those days in between when no one is there to answer the phone, try to be a grown adult, but you're slipping up and feeling alone. No one to call, told them all you'd be better on your own. Albatross, a snare, a stone. Please don't leave me with the dial tone. My heart aches, hurts, weighs. I sigh, it feels like an earthquake. Lonely and sorry for myself. In the silence, I slither. In spring, I watch my garden wither. I'm sorry for all the time I wasted. I was just trying to stand back up, but I can't, I'm stuck. I write it out, so stuck with self-doubt. I wait for the poem to write itself, for the dark to hide itself of my own making a hell, a backwards wishing well. I'll convince myself to be alone. I'll hold myself until you're on your way home. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here. I've kind of taken hiatus from performing. My life's been kind of crazy. This one's new shit. So I've definitely not performed it before. It's pretty sad. Yeah. But you know, the only way out is through, right? And part of why we all write is to write it out, right? All of my art is pretty much about mental health, recovery. I'm sober, dealing with family members who have the same afflictions and stuff. Richie knows whenever I get in front of a mic or at this point, a screen, I always say go to therapy, talk to somebody, find resources. So this one's to a family member I really love who is back in prison. Breaks my heart. Open letter to you sitting behind the bars. If I could say anything, anything at all, it's not your fault. I love you. It'll be okay. You're okay. You're not broken. It's okay. You're not bad. We don't hate you. We just miss you. We're glad you're alive. We just want you to get better. We hope the other people get better too. It's not your fault. I love you. It'll be okay. All we ever wanted to do was love you, even if sometimes loving you looked a lot like fighting because we were born to fight, grew up in a ring. You and me, Muhammad Ali. But you know, that's how I know you'll be okay. We're fighters. I know if I can make it out alive that you can too, but for the grace of God go I. It's not your fault, I love you, it'll be okay. Who are you sitting behind the bars? When did the light leave your eyes? How do we know it'll come back? The first time a heart broke open so deep, it took me years and so many doctors to keep it up, to climb my way out, just to wait for you to get back out. And you came out with teeth so sharp, I could hear them cut the breeze. It's not your fault. I love you. It'll be okay. You got out and the phone call sounded like, you doing okay? Yeah. You eating good? Yeah. You making friends? Nah. And you started asking how much money you make, when you gonna grow up? And I know you were scared. I'm sorry the world got so big. Didn't know until you left. Suddenly, I'm coming home from track practice. You're eating a bologna sandwich on the couch. I'm telling mom you snuck out. We're fighting because you're hogging the video games. The first time you called me and the phone calls were only 15 minutes, and I could hear your voice waver at the end when we had to say goodbye, and you tell me to straighten up, and that was that. And I did. It felt so unfair. The nights I had my own joy rides and idiocy, by sheer luck, was never caught. The refrain over the years, it could have been me. It's not your fault. I love you. It'll be okay. You were just beginning to rebuild like the city after a fire, but the car, the job, the money is never good as you being alive. Money just can't save a life. When you get up, when you get out, we'll be waiting in the phone. Call us, tell it where it hurts, what we can do. Let us sit in the silence. I was there too, brother. It could have been me. By what grace did I find my way out of the labyrinth? By what magic will your light come back? I recall the years I spent stuck in bed, my own nights drunk driving, my own close calls, my own near arrest. You'll never know the holidays without you, the hollow space in the Christmas. How excited to have a piece back where it belonged. The four of us now so scattered. It's not your fault. I love you. It'll be okay. Is this poem? Is poem pain? Is poem loss? Can poem speak? Does poem pull out the magic of hope? Brother, I know you. I saw you. Funny, kind brother, dickhead, meathead, poet, scholar. The miracles we pray to, alive and safe in a place you can't break. I know it'll be okay. Of blood and bone, I'm throwing out the rope until you come home. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Yeah, that's my whole heart. Yeah, that's I'm working on a new collection now. Yeah, it's been a while, but this one's called Small Miracles. It's been a hell of a year. This is a new, another new shit. It's inspired by Prajita Sharma's sets of things, which I would like to cover after this. It's called As the Morning Comes. I feel it in my bones, the soft dusk like the feather wash on my eyes, my little cups of secret dreams. I see the dusky dawn flayed briefly between tiny curtailed slits. Sleepy, sifting, I turn over and feel the impending alarm. Time slices into itself and I become the jet stream in my bones, ready for a track race to watch. The smushed blue savor the morning and let the sun yoke bleed into the sky. I hear the parents cheering in the distance. I go in auto zone, 4 feet tall, fading orange sign behind me, just waiting for the candy bar that was promised. The same early morning, spitting out contempt and forgetting it just as quickly over a McDonald's breakfast. 2 hot cakes, hash browns, and a sausage. The wind whispers just barely into a whoosh. Velvet breeze brooming into a burgeoning chill, the bumpy, peeling nylon on the school bus seats. Trying to read Les Miserables on the way back after laying in the fake grass with rubber pellets sprinkled in. I stare at the sun and become the yells fading into the yoke. No paltry glances, no fading hues, no parched sandpaper, no legs diminishing, failing. I become the jug of water. I become nothing at all, just a hum. We walk out of AutoZone, no 8 a.m. stupor, just long mechanical names and greasy grease monkey fingers gesticulating the breath of engines. I am little pajamas. I have 2 shy clamshells for eyes. Dad is telling me about a catalytic converter, or that we need to get the right size light or this piece for this year of car. Maybe it was the old 88 that he had. No, he'll hear me telling this and he'll say, no, sweetie, it wasn't the 88, it was the rice burner. Maybe it was a Suburban or the Blazer. It needs a wrench or a bolt or something. Then Dad becomes the wrenches and the wheels and the grease. I'm holding a cookies and cream candy bar, a respite for the early morning. I watch Dad reach in and pull out nothing, except maybe it was something, because now the car seems okay and we take it for a spin. The sky is too tired to blush and sighs over the mountains. The breeze tickles the new leaves lounging on the ground. Then there's that smell, as if you could smell cold rain coming months down the line, as if you could smell that sweet, big, wide open air that blows open your coats and knocks you into the car. Just a withering, waning, weaving silage, fragrance of Dad's coffee and grease and that orange soap. The spongy track, that fake grass, Dad cheering for me in that big orange water jug. Spinning around the track, it's like I could smell the ice in the jug, so fresh and cold and still laps away. I could just taste it filling up my body. My love pulls me closer as my cat screams in my face. I have the air going and waver in and out of that other place or places. The window is closed, but I hear the breeze. We are driving to get apart from my car, and behind the sun in my eyes, I see AutoZone, as orange as it's ever been. In the early, I see the splitting yoke behind the trees. Between the sifting slits, I run faster and faster until I reach the jug of water. Breathe in deep, certain smell of victory and cure or reprieve and respite of the morning. I become little pajamas. And for a moment, I smell the sweet wind, the turf, the grease, the melting chocolate bar in my tiny fingers. I swear to God, I smell the heater in my car 5 months from now. Do we want to see it coming? Do we want to stay here now? My cat screams in my face once more, then gives up intermittently with gentle breathing. Tiny warm breath stinky breezes wafting, bringing with it every other morning with every bit of sweetness. Sorry, thank you. I know that was kind of long, sorry. I just like, thank you. You're so sweet. That was new shit. I would just like to cover Sets of Things by Purjita Sharma so you can hear what it was inspired by. I've been sad and I can't find a seasonal sequence. I go forward and then my order reverses and it's winter again 2 years ago, with that sticky ice that lost your footing as you gripped that container of Greek yogurt you brought to the doctors, even when you couldn't speak. You darted your eyes with a fear that continually registered in your pupil size. You clutched your sets of things. I am full of what are sets of things I know well, then I go backwards and I don't have any sets of things. I see your pink stained washcloth from your wool coat. Your cerebellum tumor is inside with your other tumors, but I don't know it's there yet, and neither do you. It appeared and controlled your brain and the things you couldn't hold. I wonder what things are. If they are just a set of symbols we sequence, then find purposeful. I wonder if they are like rituals we learned for the brain. We have those for our body and those for our brain. I look at you. You are alive, and you breathe labored breaths, and then you died. There in the hospital bed when I let time lapse, not knowing how to hold you. I let you die for 7 days. Your daughter, bigger than I am, could hold you. She could use her muscles to grip you, but I couldn't hold you, even though you lost 40 pounds your last month. I couldn't find the sequence because I reversed everything into its pain cycle, and you didn't want me to watch you die, but I couldn't understand how everyone could let it happen, and I could too. But only if I could let it fall into its hole, its awkward sequence around death. It's not awkward, it's just not right. I can make as many intuitive decisions and many logical sequences of treatments, but I didn't know you were stepping out of sequence. And treatments are not producing remedies. And I left myself at the side of the hospital bed. You were in another light, exiting slowly. I thought the sequence of grieving would banish all the anxiety, but it came back this year. I became debilitated. I have a debilitating anxiety that I thought was gone. I have too many anxious sequences now, and they are blurring meaning. They are blurring my truths like time lapses, and I don't rush to find the joy of the occurrence without looking for the traps and my logic and my stumbling out into another bed that places me in this now future, and you don't see me because you are no longer alive with me, and I can't rectify this sequence. And I worry that when I love him, he will die too. I can't happen into its learning like it's wisdom. It's still deeply unconscious to hold this fear after I banished worry, because I looked at it in the eyes and it was real, and I felt I knew what it looked like. It's the unknowing learning that I was deeply afraid to imagine, and yet it's your empty bed, your empty closet, you're empty of the spirited you that gave you to me. In that human way we come to rely upon that shames us so. And every night of this thinking is a long night of this thinking. Do you fall into bed with us? And I have no idea of this. I'd love to think it's so. And we have room for your sets of things. That's it for me. Thank you. No shows coming up, but if you want to find me on Instagram, I'm Liz Likes Words. I'll start doing stuff again next year.
Okay, well, there's no rush, but there is enthusiasm. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, coming up next, and is someone new to me and new to the rest of you as well, I presume. But I'm really excited because it's just exciting in general that we've been doing this for 3.5 years and we still get new people sometimes. So with that in mind, please give a very hospitable welcome to, from New York City, Adam Granger.
All right, thank you very much. I'm gonna be playing some music here. This is a song that I put out on Spotify a while ago. This is the sole song that I have on Spotify, at least for now. It's under Extreme Nation, and the song is called Misinformed. We spend our whole lives trying to find the truth, hiding in plain sight to blind us with the power rule. I grew up inside a gaslight chamber. The fog inside my brain keeps me from knowing where to turn. I don't know much anything, but I'ma know it all. Severely misinformed, severely misinformed in every way. One day I tried to break out of myself. The endless flames then told me I was doomed to rot in hell. As the old saying goes, I feel like 22. My birthday present was a big fuck you to what I knew. I don't know much anything, but I'ma know it all. Severely misinformed, severely misinformed, severely misinformed at every turn that I make. Oh, the weather in my head's making me feel like a shitstorm on the loose. And I've got nowhere to go, cause I feel like I'm being used. But there's no use in anybody else when you can't even hold your own. But you're just like me, and soon you'll see that we're all out here alone. Well, nobody wants me around, cause I'ma know it all. And I don't know anything, except I'm doomed to fall. Severely misinformed, severely misinformed, severely misinformed. Every turn that I make, severely misinformed. Severely misinformed, severely misinformed at every turn that I make. Severely misinformed in every way. Alright, so you can find that song on Spotify under Extreme Nation. And I'm hoping on also putting out some more songs at some point. For now, you can follow me on Instagram at Adam Extreme Nation, and I'm also hoping to post more there too, do some more stuff.
Yeah, I hope so, man. That was a good one.
Let the guards conduct the traffic, Michael. Thanks very much, Adam. It was great to hear you for the first time. Hopefully not the last time, because I enjoyed that song, but I want to contradict it because we do want you around. Okay, so thanks very much, Adam. Hope to see you again in the coming weeks. But we're going to stick around the Eastern Seaboard. We're going to go from New York City to the Allegheny Mountains. And that is where we will visit with the poet, the playwright, the all-around talented person, Vale Larkin. Please welcome them to the stage. Vale.
Thank you. If I unmute myself, I shouldn't immediately remute myself. Just put my links up in chat. I've got a feature next week, which is an afternoon feature for me, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard, Spoken Word London. That'll be fun. Yeah, that's about all I have to promote. So I'll get right to it. Both of these are new. I said all of these, but I decided against doing the third one. So both of these are new. A dream about folding. The sun is out, light splashing off snowfall as the world turns crystal wonder all around the two of us. And I see your eyes shine in the delight of it. Over your shoulder, the edge of the earth tips up so slightly, just a little curl, the faintest hint of underside, maddeningly coy and subtle. My hands are moving before my mind, and I've grabbed your coat, dragging you down into the superficial snow, pushing you sideways while I pull you into me, clutching, cutting your words off to shout at you. You see it too, while I'm trying to save us, to hold on. Everyone can see it now. The onion skin flimsy flipping, the way the ground beneath our feet bends and flexes, flailing us about. Entropy, inertia, and gravity battle for our attention, and the ink of the truth seeps into my heart as we slide. Reality is a page turning. Thank you. Okay. This next one has a trigger warning. It's about what's happening in Israel and Gaza right now. It's very new, and any mistakes or problems are my own. It is dark in Gaza, and we are playing cards in Pittsburgh, where we check our phones for news each hour, like birds back to feeders full of antifreeze and grief. It is dark in Gaza now, while we play cards, gin rummy, because war is a game for children who believe that luck makes them heroes and misfortune is always deserved when they win. It is dark in Gaza today because, can anyone say? Is it the men who went rampaging, blood in the streets, cries of the women and children? Or is it the bombs falling? It is dark in Gaza, and we are playing cards and talking about Gaza and our friends who have family there and family in Israel, and all in a world where prophets have armies, ravening hordes both sides, every god alike, blood-stained hands against the huddled throngs. It is dark in Gaza. No, that's a lie. It is blazing there. Every fire, every flare, the scream of phosphorus, like the screams of women and children spreading like oil slick, like the wings of bombers, like the wings of brutal men, and death comes bright as sunlight. We are playing cards in Pittsburgh. They are calling it dark in Gaza. Soldiers are marching, and we are watching ourselves unstuck in time again. I wonder who will be left to write the story of this city. Voices like birds against cruel window panes. We speak of the dying, we speak of the dead, and dark comes to Gaza. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vale. Okay, and you said and all your links are in the chat. Is there anything you want to plug upcoming or?
No, I'm good.
Okay then. Okay, well, thank you very much, Vale. And we are going to stick in the Eastern time zone. Just going to stick in the Midwest for a bit, and we're going to go to South Euclid's native son, who's styled himself out like a gunfighter tonight. That's my job. It's the infamous Doc Channing. Doc, when you're ready.
Hey, thank you. I'm going to start with an autumn poem. The title is Hineni. Trees autumn laden, ablaze with color, and the rushing sound of Euclid Creek sings the song of my thoughts. I hear the voice of nature and sense what our world is about. Wilderness and cities, animals and man. It is a scene simple in its complexity. It reaches into shaded glades and sun-filled meadows. It holds answers to life and infinity. And in this time of falling leaves, I listen to hear more clearly the soft voice of an ancient breeze, and I contemplate the ineffable beauty of which it speaks. Hineni. And my second and last poem is a cover poem. The title of it is Dead Man's Hate. It's by Robert E. Howard, the creator of Conan the Barbarian. It was first published in Weird Tales magazine, January 1930. They hanged John Farrell in the dawn amid the marketplace. At dusk came Adam Brand to him and spat upon his face. Ho, neighbors all, spoke Adam Brand, see ye John Farrell's fate. 'Tis proven here a hempen noose is stronger than man's hate. For heard ye not John Farrell's vow to be avenged on me, come life or death? See how he hangs high on the gallows tree. Yet never a word the people spoke in fear and wild surprise. For the grisly corpse raised up its head and stared with sightless eyes. And with strange motions, slow and stiff, pointed at Adam Brand and clambered down the gibbet tree, the noose within its hand. With gaping mouth stood Adam Brand like a statue carved of stone, till the dead man laid a clammy hand hard on his shoulder bone. Then Adam shrieked like a soul in hell. The red blood left his face, and he reeled away in a drunken run through the screaming marketplace. And close behind the dead man came with a face like a mummy's mask. And the dead joints cracked, and the stiff legs creaked with their unwonted task. Men fled before the flying twain, or shrank with bated breath, and they saw on the face of Adam Brand the seal set there by death. He reeled on buckling legs that failed, yet on and on he fled. So through the shuddering marketplace, the dying fled the dead. At the riverside fell Adam Brand with a scream that rent the skies. Across him fell John Farrell's corpse, nor ever the twain did rise. There was no wound on Adam Brand, but his brow was cold and damp, for the fear of death had blown out his life as a witch blows out a lamp. His lips were writhed with a horrid grin, like a fiend's on Satan's coals, And the men that looked upon his face that day, his stare still haunts their souls. Such was the fate of Adam Brand, a strange, unearthly fate. For stronger than death or hempen noose are the fires of a dead man's hate. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Doc Janney. Is there any events, anything in the cultural life at South Euclid that you want our viewers to be aware of?
The only major thing coming up is the end of November. My first book is being published.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, congrats on that. Okay,
Thank you.
Doc Janney, and we're going to go from South Euclid to the heart of the nation for our next two readers. We are going to go to Washington, D.C., and our first stop along the way will be with the word artist Martin Parker, who does whose lifelong interest in linguistics has produced some very terrific visual art. And if you want to have some for your own home on your own walls, you can talk to him about that. But he's also going to read some poems for us. Please welcome to our stage, Martin Parker, Parkwillian.
Oh, thank you very much, Kit. Actually, I think I'm going to start with for something that's more of a prose thing, a very short piece that I ironically wrote at a poetry workshop, but it's not really a poem, I don't think. And sort of, like I say, I'm not a big fan of this time of year usually, but I did come out with this about a year ago. This is called The Haunted Halloween Townhouse. I've never been a huge fan of Halloween or spooky ghost stories like my twin cousin, born 6 days after me, who fell out of bed laughing after scaring me with one. And I've really never liked watching horror films like Friday the 13th. But for some reason, I do like spooky music. So one Halloween night, which happened to be on a Friday when my parents left me alone in their townhouse, probably to go to a square dance like the one where they met, with a big bowl of candy to hand out to any kids who might come by, I pulled out some of my favorite spooky music by the likes of Pink Floyd, Bob Dylan, and yes, even Herb Alpert. I left the front door open and settled in to wait for the doorbell to ring. It never did. And I thought, maybe there aren't as many kids in this neighborhood as my parents thought. Eventually, I heard the sound of my parents pulling into the communal parking lot. And apparently, as my mother walked to the door, she spotted the next door neighbor standing just inside her own open door and asked how many kids came by. Someone down the way was playing this loud, spooky music and scared them all away, she complained. When I heard that, I quickly turned the stereo off, put away the records, and pretended not to have a clue when my parents asked me about it. And that's how I inadvertently became the creator of the legend of the haunted Halloween townhouse. Or maybe that only exists in the depths of my own mind. So then I have a couple other very short poems about the season. This one's called Autumn Ambeliqui. When pumpkins ripen on the vine, the warmth of the summer begins to fade. I feel the breeze across my face with hints of a chill in the evening shade. This is the time the leaves on the trees will let their green ichor bleed away, revealing the colors underneath that warm my heart on a cool fall day. I breathe in the scent of burning leaves, of cider with spices that on the stove molds, while a pumpkin pie freshly baked reclines on the counter as it cools. But fear of the fast approaching freeze can make me dream of summer's ease. And this is another strange one that just came to me after looking at a fall day. Seasonal swirls. A wave of Freon battled the sun, who stretched me a ladder of gold to cross over the yawning abyss, stealing her warmth, spreading a chill, stirring a breeze, stripping off leaves, tossing them all around on the ground, swirling shades of red ochre green, creating a bowl of autumn leaf salad. And thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you, Martin. And if the people want more of that, are there any social media handles where they can find you?
Sure. Park Willian on Instagram and parkwillian.com, my website, where you can get my word art, like my pumpkins behind me. And I'll put a link in the chat if you want to get a free PDF of my Halloween pumpkins card, like you see behind me, for signing up on my mailing list, in case you want to hear about my updates coming up.
Okay, terrific. Well, thanks very much, Martin. Okay, and well, Martin's also a regular at the Tumbleworks Project and is very beloved member of several of our little online happenings. And so is our next presenter, also in DC. And this is the part where I try to imitate him. But all of my attempts lack a certain piece of information or datum. See, he's always able to rhyme at an exacting meter, and it's something that once you can try, but you just can't beat her. Oh, that was horrible. It just goes to show, except no imitations, except only the original, except only Ed Poetastic.
Thank you, my bro, like no other, with words like thunder. And I tip my hat to you, Quaker Kit. You are a smashing hit. Woo! Hello, my name is Ed Pumptastic. Hope you feel fantastic. Please, it's time to get John Ryan off of Sublime. I got 10 Halloween jokes, and I got one small poem and three poems. So I won't take much time when I rhyme. All right. First, okay. Who did the ghost take on a date? His ghoul friend. Why wouldn't the ghost dance at the party? He had nobody to dance with him. What position does the ghost play in soccer? Goalkeeper. What did the ghost say when he realized he'd be cheated? I've been bamboozled. Why do ghosts go on diets? So they can keep their ghoulish figures. Where does a ghost go on vacation? Malibu. Why did the ghost go into the bar? For the booze. What is in a ghost's nose? Boogers. Why did the policeman ticket the ghost on Halloween? It didn't have a haunting license. And why do demons and ghouls hang out together? Because demons are a ghoul's best friend. And last but not least, what's a ghost's favorite dessert? Ice cream. Hope you enjoyed those jokes for you folks. I got a small poem. This is called Love and War. Palestine versus Israel, Jews versus Nazis. Does it ring a bell? One big genocide spree. War's good for nothing. Innocent lives taken away. It's all the rich getting something. Lives are taken by minute, hour, and day. Where's the humanity? Where's the truce? Where's the empathy? Where's the juice? Where is the reality? It doesn't have to be obtuse. Has history taught us nothing? There are no winners in wars. It's always ducking and running. Don't ignore. We need love to restore. Thank you. And I got my other piece. This is called Mask Omen. I didn't choose the monster, but the monster chose me. This beautiful knife calls my name. I wear the mark of the bloodthirsty beast. I have no humanity or shame. I was a small boy who was ugly. Kissed me without mercy. Nobody helped me willingly. I cried unworldly. They threw me into rivers without end. The water was going through my mouth and lungs. I yelled help, but I didn't have any friends. Oh, the deep salt water that suffocated and stung. I found this mask belonging to nowhere. The mask playfully sings. It promised to bear all my worries with cares, the start of new beginnings. I packed it in my backpack. I paid no mind. Its words were blissful heart attacks. I was amazed by the signs. After school, the neighborhood bullies chased me. I was a deer in the headlights. Please, just leave me alone, please. I couldn't escape with all my might. They hold me down. They deeply bruised my stomach and face. I look like a mauled clown, my blood and tears smeared with unmerciful grace. They left, our gargled with sadness and pain. My blood pack roared with ferocity. It roared words of crimson rain. It lured me with its monstrosity and its curiosity. It roared, tomorrow you won't suffer no more sorrow. I smiled with a crooked smile of glee. It says their punishment will be agonizing and slow. Thank you, my angel, who saved me. The day after, there was nothing new. Bullies chased me out and they were hyenas at the zoo. I heard someone said, put me on, my terrified little friend. I put on the mask. I felt so many screams and whimpers. It happened so fast. Their bodies went completely timber. I took off the mask. They were bloody and lifeless dolls. It completed its task. Wait, was I the cause? I brought up a storm. They were a butcher without remorse. The mask made me transform. The mask drifted off course. The next day, I saw a few guys chase a woman. They had snake eyes. She screamed for help throughout the land. Nobody came. Well, I'm not surprised. I followed them to a vacant alleyway. I put on the mask. I was blood fly and bodies decay. It was a start, but it didn't last. I killed them all, me and my crimson hands. I made these beasts fall. My mask. I truly understand. I tried comforting the woman, but she slapped me. She had the same hate as the bullies. I was a monster of her misery. I will help to set her free. I put the mask on again. I hugged her close and tight. I just wanted the screams to end. It felt wrong, but it felt so right. I ran covered blood and perfume, my body nestled away in the darkness. I was showered with light from the moon. I was consumed by my mystic bliss. Hold on real quick. You want to know my name? Here's the hint. Happy Halloween. Not fix my merry game. Would you be the next prey for my crime scene? Thank you. But I got another one. This is called Native Creature. Toasting marshmallows, one of the kids bellowed, I'm bored. Something out of the peaceful norm. Gather round, kids. Hear my scary tale. A story that will leave you bone-chilling pale. A story about an animal, but not just a story about an animal, but not just any creature. An animal with so many creepy features. He was a Native American medicine man, always up to offer the sick a helping hand. He had a big heart and a vast mind. He never left any ill person alone or behind. He was in love with a woman who was beautiful like a rose flower. He dreams about her every minute and hour. He proposed to her. She said, I do. The whole village parties till high noon. The next day, he heard terrible sounds, the sight of red blood soaked up on the ground. He saw huts burning and bloody guts everywhere. He was panicking. He had no time to stare. Silverman started shouting and killing with no cease or end. He saw the pale heads of his lover, family, and friends. He said a man shouting, "America is here, where I stand." His name was Christopher Columbus, destroyer of his homeland. He picked up his headless beloved and went into the woods. He ran quickly as he could. He ran as fast as any deer or the wind. His sweat and tears quickly transcend. He ran in the center of the woods. Heavens know why. He started to tear up and scream in the black sky. He held up his dead, beloved body. He bellowed revenge. He started smelling a foul stench. He saw a dark tree, had a sinister voice. It said, "Do you want power? It's your own choice." The man screamed, "Yes, give me the power to kill." The tree said, "Be careful, it can shatter wills." The tree dropped a black fruit and told him to eat it. He ate it. Then the tree said, "They'll know true defeat." He started roaring and his skin changed. His eyes looked bloodshot and deranged. He started to walk on fours with a blood-curdling howl. He spooked all, even the bats and owls. He ran out of the woods. He slaughtered all who caught his eyes. He heard the bellows of his fallen enemies' cries. He changed into an eagle to get a bird's-eye view. He screamed, "Columbus, where are you?" Columbus set sail a while ago. He felt the most harshest blow. He stayed to guard those woods each and every day. He made graves for all his loved ones with bouquets. No one knows what happened to him. Some say he reached a mysterious grim. Some say he can hear his roar on a dark night. The saddened whales hunger for his dead lover's warming light. Oh, what's this? These are Native American rings from my dearly beloved. Is a precious keepsake of my bride, lover, and friend. Thank you. Last but not least, I got another piece. This is called Webhead. A masked woman with wise word of great power comes with great responsibility. Too bad evil doesn't have any accountability or simplicity. My spider sense is tingling. Day must be near. It's time to punch culprits, thieves, and villains into tears. My ordinary life being Spider-Man. I do what any friendly guy with spider powers can. I'm swinging through vast buildings in these annoying spandex tights, trying to juggle the concept of what's wrong and right. This suit, a sticky emblem to wear. The heaven burns I must bear, but never ever share. They say crying never sleeps, but God, give me a break for once. Just immediately time for sleep or a bite for a quick brunch? My mind thinly grasping my funny innocence, my old easy life of being normal, I sullenly reminisce. Mary Jane, she always the web beneath my wings. Her presence always makes my heart swing and sing. Aunt May, she the sweetest thing next to my heart. I make sure no one or nothing tears us apart. Uncle Ben, I'm so sorry. Hope you're proud of me. I promise to be the most spectacular superhero. You'll see. Venom, he was always the oil in my clear pond, pushing my heroic action in the great beyond. Carnage, Venom on overdrive. Every time I fight him, I'm surprised I'm still breathing alive. Rhino, he's such a dim-witted wrecking ball. Like they always say, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Dr. Octopus is a genius with a heart made from vibranium steel. He always keeps me on edge on the top of my heels. Green Goblin, my best friend's maniac bipolar father. After I beat him, I need to describe him a great therapist or a doctor. Vulture, he's such a crazy bird brain. He's the embodiment of common sense down the drain. Scorpion, he's a new definition of acid rain. I know his dry cleaning is a huge pain. Black Cat, she is my trouble-making minx. She's sexy. Ahem! Sneaks the little jinx. Sandman, the crook who's filled with the sand. It really feels like me against the barren land. Electro, he's always a jolt in my side. He always leaves my cell phone web shooter's fried. Stanley and Kirby, they were marvelous Excelsior guys. Now they're not with us, but became stars in the vast skies. It's just my average day being your friendly neighbor Spider-Man, the savior of citizens, and the punisher of madmen. Thank you. Happy Halloween, my ghouls and fiends, and everyone in between.
All right, Ed. Well, that was very thorough. Covered a lot of different angles on this holiday. Where else can the people find you if that's what they need to do?
Sure. Thank you for coming. Thank you for pushing on through. Remember that we love you. Okay. If you want to follow me, please support this wonderful open mic that makes our Monday night such a delight in the wonderful, fantastic spotlight. But you want to follow me, please feel free. My Facebook is Eddie Foreman and my IG is 8492. And remember, if the mic is right, I'll be there to shout out my fantastic insight. If you send me a quest, you take guess. The answer is yes. Hope everyone stays safe and healthy and blessed. Never stop spewing the one words outside your chest. Never stop feeling and being and doing your best. And always remember that you're more important than you ever know. And happy Halloween, my ghouls, witches, and fiends. And anyone in between.
All right. Managed to make it thematic and inclusive. We appreciate that, Eddie. Okay. Well, thanks very much. Well, we're almost to the end of the list. But before we call Dan up and scare everyone out of their wits, because I saw the mask, it's going to be really, really something. But we're going to give him a few more minutes to prepare, because I'm going to read the second half of Renegade, The Renegade by Shirley Jackson, and conclude our installment of Short Story Theater. And if you want to know what happened in the first part, go watch last week's video. You got time. What you got to do? When she entered the grocery, it was almost empty. There was a man at the hardware counter and another man leaning against the meat counter talking to Mr. Kittredge, the grocer. When Mr. Kittredge saw Mrs. Walpole come in, he called across the store, "Morning, Mrs. Walpole." "Fine day." "Lovely," Mrs. Walpole said. And the grocer said, "Bad luck about the dog." "I don't know what to do about it," Mrs. Walpole said. And the man talking to the grocer looked at her reflectively, then back at the grocer. "Killed 3 chickens up the Harris's this morning," the grocer said to the man. And the man nodded solemnly and said, "Heard about that." Mrs. Walpole came across to the meat counter and said, "Mrs. Nash said, would you save her a roast of pork? She'll be down later to get it." "Going up that way," the man standing with the grocer said. "Drop it off." "Right," the grocer said. The man looked at Mrs. Walpole and said, "Gonna have to shoot him, I guess?" "I hope not," Mrs. Walpole said earnestly. "We're all so fond of the dog." The man and the grocer looked at one another for a minute, and then the grocer said reasonably, "Won't do to have a dog going around killing chickens, Mrs. Walpole." "First thing you know," the man said, "someone will put a load of buckshot into him. He won't come home no more." He and the grocer both laughed. "Isn't there any way to cure the dog?" Mrs. Walpole said. "Sure," the man said. "Shoot him." "Tie a dead chicken around his neck," the grocer suggested. "That might do it." "Heard of a man did that," the other man said. "Did it help?" Mrs. Walpole asked eagerly. The man shook his head slowly and with determination. "You know," the grocer said. He leaned his elbow on the meat counter. He was a great talker. "You know," he said again, "my father had a dog once. Used to eat eggs. Got into the chicken house. Used to break the eggs open and lick them up. Used to eat maybe half the eggs we got." "That's a bad business," the other man said. "Dog eating eggs." "Bad business," the grocer said in confirmation. Mrs. Walpole found herself nodding. "Last, my father couldn't stand it no more. Here, half his eggs were getting eaten," the grocer said. "So he took an egg once, set it on the back of the stove for 2-3 days, till the egg got good and ripe, good and hot through, and that egg smelled pretty bad. And then I was there, boy, 12, 13 years old. He called the dog one day, and the dog come running. So I held the dog, and my daddy opened the dog's mouth and put in the egg red hot and smelling to heaven. And then he held the dog's mouth closed so the dog couldn't get rid of the egg anyway except swallow it." The grocer laughed and shook his head reminiscently. "That dog never ate another egg," the man said. "Never touched another egg." the grocer said firmly. You put an egg down in front of that dog, he runs to the devil's after. But how did he feel about you? Mrs. Walpole asked. Did he ever come near you again? The grocer and the other man both looked at her. How do you mean? The grocer said. Did he ever like you again? Well, the grocer said. No, he said finally. I don't believe you could say he ever did. Not much of a dog, though. There's one thing you ought to try, the other man said suddenly to Mrs. Walpole. You really want to cure that dog? There's one thing you ought to try. What's that? Mrs. Walpole said. You want to take that dog, the man said, leaning forward, gesturing with his one hand. Take him and put him in the pen where the mother hen's got chicks to protect. Time she's through with him, he won't never chase another chicken. The grocer began to laugh, and Mrs. Walpole looked bewildered from the grocer to the other man, who was looking at her without a smile, his eyes wide and yellow like a cat's. What would happen? She said. She asked uncertainly. Scratch his eyes out, the grocer said succinctly. He wouldn't never be able to see another chicken. Mrs. Walpole realized that she felt faint. Smiling over her shoulder in order not to seem discourteous, she moved quickly away from the meat counter and down to the other end of the store. The grocer continued talking to the man behind the meat counter, and after a minute, Mrs. Walpole went outside into the air. She decided that she would go home and lie down until nearly lunchtime and do her shopping later in the day. At home, she found that she could not lie down until the breakfast table was cleared and the dishes washed, and by the time she had done that, it was almost time to start lunch. She was standing by the pantry shelves debating when a dark shape crossed the sunlight in the doorway, and she realized Lady was home. For a minute, she stood still, watching Lady. The dog came in quietly, harmlessly, as though she had spent the morning frolicking on the grass with her friends. But there were spots of blood on her legs, and she drank her water eagerly. Mrs. Walpole's first impulse was to scold her, to hold her down and beat her for the deliberate, malicious pain she had inflicted, the murderous brutality a pretty dog like Lady could keep so well hidden in their home. Then Mrs. Walpole, watching Lady go quietly and settle down in her usual spot by the stove, turned helplessly and took the first cans she found from the pantry shelves and brought them to the kitchen table. Lady sat quietly by the stove until the children came in noisily for lunch. And then she leaped up and jumped on them, welcoming them as though they were the aliens and she the native to the house. Judy, pulling Lady's ear, said, Hey, hello, Mom. Do you know what Lady did? You're a bad, bad dog, she said to Lady. You're gonna get shot. Mrs. Walpole felt faint again and set a dish down hastily on the table. Judy Walpole, she said. She is, Mom, Judy said. She's going to get shot. Children don't realize, Mrs. Walpole told herself. Death is never real to them. Try to be sensible, she told herself. Sit down to lunch, children, she said quietly. But Mother, Judy said. And Jack said, She is, Mom. They sat down noisily, unfolding their napkins and attacking their food without looking at it, eager to talk. You know what Mr. Shepherd said, Mom? Jack demanded, his mouth full. Listen, Judy said. We'll tell you what he said. Mr. Shepherd was a genial man who lived near the Walpoles and gave the children nickels and took the boys fishing. He says Lady's going to get shot, Jack said. But the spikes, tell about the spikes. The spikes, Jack said. Listen, Mommy. He says you got to get a collar for Lady. A strong collar, Judy said. And you get big, thick nails like spikes and you hammer them into the collar. All around, Judy said. Let me tell it. Jack, you hammer these nails all around so as they make spikes inside the collar? But it's loose, Jack said. Let me tell this part. It's loose and you put it around Lady's neck. And Judy put her hand on her throat and made a strangling noise. Not yet, Jack said. Not yet, dopey. First, you get a long rope. A real long rope, Judy amplified. And you fasten it to the collar. And then we put the collar on Lady, Jack said. Lady was sitting next to him, and he leaned over and said, and then we put this real spiky collar around your neck and kissed the top of her head while Lady regarded him affectionately. And then we take her where there are chickens, Judy said. And we show her the chickens and we turn her loose. And we make her take the chickens, Jack said. And then when she gets right up close to the chickens, we pull on the rope. And Judy made her strangling noise again. The spikes cut her head off. Jack finished dramatically. They both began to laugh. And Lady, looking from one to the other, panted as though she were laughing too. Mrs. Walpole looked at them, at her two children, with their hard hands and their sunburned faces laughing together, their dog, with blood still on her legs, laughing with them. She went to the kitchen doorway to look outside at the cool green hills, the motion of the apple tree in the afternoon breeze. Cut your head right off, Jack was saying. Everything was quiet and lovely in the sunlight, the peaceful sky, the gentle line of the hills. Mrs. Walpole closed her eyes, suddenly feeling the harsh hands pulling her down, the sharp points closing in on her throat. Okay, that was The Renegades by Shirley Jackson, a classic of horror. Speaking of classics of horror, someone well known to the consumers of haunted houses in the El Paso area for almost a decade. Someone well known this open mic every installment for almost 3.5 years. Someone who you just heard coughing, but don't let that fool you. He is as real as they come. We're about to roll things down, so we're taking it to the old right-hander, but we are not responsible for any ambulance trips as the result of Dan the Man. Take it away, bud.
Yeah, hello everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope you guys have a happy Halloween. Hang on a second. There we go. Yeah, I'm trying to get weak. Yeah. Hey, look again. It's Witchy McWitch. What you doing? Yeah, I'm doing good, Witchy McWitch. Okay. Okay. Since this is Halloween, I don't know if anybody got my candy grams, if you know what I mean. Speaking of candy grams, yeah, I know that candy's kind of annoying. Grand slam for all the candy grams. Well, it's all candy in the lamb. Oh, I'm not talking about an anagram or a diagram, but candy's in the jam. So, yep, there's a telegram. Candygram. Yeah. I hope everybody, whoever got my candygrams, you're very welcome. Yep. All right. Well, we just want to say happy Halloween to each and every one of you. Yeah. As ain't no pound queen or king. We're talking about the monster queen or monster king. How about lean and mean? Like the jelly bean, it's always to intervene. Like a serpentine or the quarantine. Speaking of 9/11, yeah, it is quarantine. That's like the tambourine and like the tangerine. Well, if you want to have fun, go to the trampoline. How about, yeah, just like, smoking like a nicotine or it's like something scary movie, so it's like a smoke screen. Yep. But you don't know. If you wanted some Halloween, you'll have to get some cuisine. Something like Zombies has a human cuisine, if you know what I mean. And yeah, always the candies like candy corns and jelly beans. Yep. But you'll have to brush your teeth to get your teeth clean, if you know what I mean. Yeah. But yep. But even though what seems to be a scream, only in the moonbeam, just like a Halloween night in the mainstream. Well, after trick or treating, you can get some ice cream. Yep, we take the Halloween to the extreme. And I'm talking about the bloodstream, not the night dream or the daydream. But it's Halloween, just like in the team. Yeah. They always like playing the certain machine. But even though we say, how discreet is it? Well, we say trick or treat. Only in the nighttime of the deadbeat. Yep, so this is like the plane to meet, or well, it looks like the heat's already gone, but you can still have the Halloween sweet. And I'm talking about candies and sweet, or if you want to get cold feet. But if you wanna ride with the kids, you have to take the back seat. Well, you already bought some candies, you'll need a receipt. Yeah. And yeah, like candygrams last year, today, once again a repeat. Well, just like 3 years ago, but not 3 years. Oh, I said 2 years ago, but not 3 years ago because of COVID. Yeah. So I guess it's short and I'm gonna say short and sweet, but we still want to say trick or treat, or smell my feet, give me some red as starts to beat, or you like to watch Homicide Life in the Street, or like Wall Street, make it Sesame Street. Yeah, that's short and sweet for a trick or treat. All right, but we just want to say it's been a light. Yeah, we see the light. But I gotta say, I know Friday's gonna be fight night. Yep, and it's always in Sprite. Yeah, it's gonna be airtight all night, and it's up for the bullfight. And I'm talking about the boxing fight. Well, it's this Friday, but as of now, we're still on Halloween Eve before the night. So, yeah. So this is out of sight. This is like closing night or out like a light. So, yep, be careful for snake bites because they're not like zombie bites. So, yep, we're in a green light, but not a red light. Gonna need your flashlight for tomorrow night. Well, ain't that right for Halloween night? Okay. Yeah, everything it seems, we know it's been. And we just want to say all the way to the green machine. Yep. I always want to say happy Halloween and keep your costumes dry clean. Yeah, there it is. Click. All right, guys. All right, well, yeah, sorry. Sorry, I was having a little trouble breathing this one, you know what I mean? Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever saw this. I'm just wearing a Freddy Krueger t-shirt right here. Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. All right, guys. Guys, want to wish each and every one of you a happy, safe, and happy Halloween. Again, I just found my blog earlier today, and I'm still behind a month's schedule, so I'm still working on the end of September and I'm working on the October one. So it's gonna be a while. So just hang tight, guys. But in the meantime, happy Halloween to each and every one of you. Don't let the bugs bite. And you damn right. According to Heisenberg, you damn right. Yeah. And have a good night. Hold on. Kit,
What's up?
I need to share.
Oh, you got to share screen to show your card. Hang on. I
Mm-hmm.
got you. All right, you're good to go.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Excusez-moi.
Bless you.
Okay. You can still follow me on Instagram. I'm still Yeah, I'm still in the middle of promotions, a couple other things, and I forgot to promote the haunted house. I apologize for that. Just but again, try to follow me on, well, Twitter's now X, and I'm still behind schedule on Facebook, and but nevertheless, find the Animans Weekly on YouTube. Don't forget to search the subscribe to channel and watch. So don't forget the hashtag. All right, guys, you have a safe and happy Halloween. All right, Kit, let's if Richie feels better, let's call it a night. So
Even if he doesn't.
all right, happy Halloween, everybody.
All right. Well, thank you, Dan. And thank you out there for joining us on this. I think they call it Devil's Night some places. The night before Halloween is where, you get a lot of the kids shit that kids don't get into anymore because their parents won't leave them alone. But yes, but thank you for joining us here this October 30th, and a happy Halloween, and hope all you and yours stay safe too out there in the internet. Live in El Paso tomorrow, BWOMS will be at Mona Bar. Go ahead and dress up because they like that kind of stuff. Downtown's gonna be a big costume party, most likely. The Mike of the Living Dead, some people are calling it. And that is, I think, the last event in what has been a very busy October for us here at BWOMS. We're thankful for everyone who comes and makes these things so fun and so vital, because a mic is nothing without the people that participate and the people who watch. Otherwise, it's just me sitting in my bedroom. Who wants that? Nobody. I've asked. But some of us are going to stick around for what we call the after party, but this is the end of the on-air portion. So Richie's got the buttons, and we will